Hi everyone, I'm Mandy from Emptiness Designs, and in this video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for you. I'm going to be doing a crochet pattern, which is a first for this channel. If it goes well, hopefully it won't be the last, but it's definitely a first. So the pattern I'm going to be showing you today I've called the film strip scarf. I came up with the design a couple of weeks ago to gift to my son for his 18th birthday. The reason I've called it the film strip is because the colour parts of the scarf reminded me of old reels of film. I can't say that word today. Old reels of film or like camera negatives. And it's quite a fitting title because he's a budding actor. So to create the project, you're going to need Aran weight yarn in a choice of colours, a 5.5mm crochet hook, tapestry needle, a stitch marker, and some scissors. So let me just pull these out of the way and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to begin your chains, and for that we need to create a slip knot. So let me do that from the beginning again. So I've just laid it across my hand and I'm just wrapping it around 3 fingers, and I'm using my little finger to hold the yarn in place. I'm then going to take the back one across my finger and pulling it over the second bit of yarn here, and then I'm going to take the second one and pull it over the first one again, and just lifting it off the top of my fingers, keeping this loop here because that is the loop. So we just pull it tight. I'm going to insert my hook and pull the short tail to give me my cast on slip stitch. No, my cast on slip knot. Then I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers. That's how I hold it. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through, keeping the chains quite loose so that you don't get a tight edge down one side of the scarf. And we're going to repeat this process of chaining for the required amount that gives you the length of the scarf that you want. The only thing you need to remember is that you need to count and give yourself 2s. So right now I've got 3 chains here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Grab a bit more yarn. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. So all I've done there is 20 chains. Now I think my son's quite tall, and I wanted to give him a really long scarf that he could wrap around himself a couple of times as well. So I did quite a long scarf. I think I worked with about 290 stitches, so it was really quite long, in an Aran weight yarn as well, which is what I'm using for this project. Hopefully I already mentioned that. But you want to end on an even number. The reason for that becomes important when we get to row 3, but for the purpose of this demonstration I'm just going to leave it here at 20. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to count 3 chains from the hook. So you don't count this one that's on the hook. We're just going to go 1, 2 and 3. We're going to yarn over and we're going to insert our hook into that 3rd chain. Going to yarn over and pull through, so you now have 3 loops on your hook. Going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're, in UK terms, that's a treble stitch. Now we've got the 2 here that were from the chains. They count as your first stitch. So we're going to go back down this row, putting one treble in every chain to the end of the row, and that will give you 19 stitches, including these two. So right now there are 2 stitches on here. So we're going to yarn over. Oops. I'm going to go into the next chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and that is creating the trebles. And like I said, we're going to do that the whole way across till we get to the end of the row. So I'm going a bit faster, but still hopefully slow enough for you to see. In I believe in US terms, this stitch is referred to as a double crochet, but in the UK it is a treble. So I'm continuing to go the whole way across. Now, as you can see, mine is curling a little bit. It's probably more to do with my tension than anything else. But don't worry about that, because it will straighten out as you go along. So we are coming up towards the end. Not many stitches left to go. Oops. Again, this is the same process all the way. Insert into the chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And when we get to the end of this row, we're going to tie off the yarn because we're going to change colour. So we are almost there. Into the final stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Oops. Sorry about that. So let's have a look. We have, including the 2 that were from the chains, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 stitches. Now obviously this is just a sample size, but it is important that you end up on an uneven number. It doesn't make much difference now or in row 2, but when we get to row 3 it does make a difference. So all I'm going to do to change colours is I'm going to create a chain, slip off the yarn and pull it through, and then we're going to pull that nice and tight so that it can't go anywhere. Okay, so the next colour I'm going to introduce is going to be the grey, which is actually a graphite. Now there are lots of different ways to attach your different colour of yarn. I like to just, especially on this particular project, I like to just snip it off because the ends, they won't need weaving in. You're just going to use them in the tassels at the end of the project. So again, I like to create a slip knot. And then I'm going to go into the top of the last stitch that we created, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and I'm going to pull that straight through the slip knot. I'm going to give that a little bit of a pull. I'm going to move the strand out of the way, and then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. So for this row, we're just going to be doing double crochet the whole way across. I believe in US terms that is single crochet. And to do that, you're going to insert your hook into the stitch of the row underneath, making sure you get both parts of the V. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we are going to continue that all the way to the end of the row. The finished project looks really lovely if you do change your colours. You don't notice the pattern as much if you do it in just a singular block colour. So continuing with the double crochet, just insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. All the way to the end. Now I didn't add my stitch marker because I know where I'm going to, but had I have done so, it would have been here, ready for me to know that this was the end of the row and the final stitch. So I'm just going to grab that part there so that I make sure I get through both of the parts of the stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is row 2 complete. Okay, so all we do now is we're going to chain 2. Oops, and turn our work. And we are going to put a treble into the next stitch. So we're going to insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is where the odd number comes into play. So the next thing we're going to do is chain 1. And then on the bottom part here, where we're just going to be putting our stitches, we're going to skip a stitch and go into the next stitch along. So yarn over, skip this stitch and work into here. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to repeat that step, skipping the next stitch and going into the one after. And we're going to do this the whole way across. So after the treble, chain 1, yarn over, skip a stitch, go into the next one, chain 1, skip a stitch, create your treble, and we're going to do this the whole way across until we get to the last stitch. We're almost there. So we're going to skip this one and work our stitch into here, which is the next stitch along. And instead of chaining, we're going to yarn over and go into the final stitch, which is the chain 1 from the previous row, ending on a treble. So let me just show you that. So what we've got here is row 1 is a row of trebles, row 2 is a row of doubles, and row 3 is a row of trebles and chains. All we're going to do now is chain 1 and turn our work. And we're going to work a row of doubles all the way across this, including going into the chain stitch. I found that going into just the space does not give you a nice neat edge as you can get when you go into the stitch. So making sure you've got both parts of the V on your hook, insert, yarn over and pull through 2. And we're going to work that into the top of every treble and into every chain whole way across. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now obviously it will vary depending on how long you want to make your project, but it really didn't take me very long to create the scarf. Even though I was working with almost 300 stitches, it didn't take very long at all, because they are simple stitches that once you get into the flow, it just comes quite fast and quite naturally. So now we're at the end of the row. We're just making sure that we go into the top of both of the trebles, which included the chain 2. And that is where this colour ends. So this do you see what I mean, how it reminded me of the film negatives? So you have like this the chain space would be where the images were, so you've got the nice channel running either side with the break in between, and it just reminded me of, like I said, the film strips of the negative, and that is exactly where the name came from. So all we're going to do here is cast off the same way. So just create a chain, cut the end off, pull it through and pull it tight. And then we're going to go back to the main colour. So I'm going to once again cast on by creating a slip knot. Going to go into the last stitch of row 4 and pull through, and we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to turn the work. Yarn over, insert into the chain, and that's going to be another row of trebles going the whole way across. So we insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is essentially the entire pattern to create this scarf. I also think it would make a really lovely pattern for a blanket. You could use multiple different colours for the film strip section. So for the colourful section, you could use all different colours. You could create it as a rainbow, or if you were working towards a theme in a bedroom and such, you could just tie it in with the colours that you've worked into the room already. Or you could just keep it a really simple pattern by just using 2 colours like I've got so far. So we're just creating the trebles the whole way across. And then when we get to the end of this row, we're going to be casting off again. And what you have to remember is, obviously this is a very small piece. This is just 20 stitches, or a chain 20 giving 19 stitches, I should say. And if this was full size, you wouldn't worry about any of your ends being woven in, because you just work those into the tassels at the end. So this is what we've got so far, and this would be where we introduced another colour, but all we would do is create rows 2, 3 and 4 again, and that is essentially the whole pattern. So let me bring in the finished scarf to show you. As you can see, it is exactly this, and then we would introduce the next colour and we'd follow it along. So this is row 1, this is row 2, section here in the middle with the holes in the middle is row 3, the last row in that colour, row 4, and then we start row 5 as if it was row 1 again. And you do that the whole way across. I suggest you end on a treble row because it frames it nicely, but you could make it as wide as you want, just repeating the pattern the whole way across. All I did to finish was add some tassels. That's where the tapestry needle came into play, because some of the tassels don't end where you want them to. So all I did was take, let me show you, all I did was take the tapestry needle and where this ends here at the bottom, I just wove it through, to the middle, and that was it. That's the entire weaving for this project, because all you would do then is create the tassels and put them through the end section here. I did colour matching, so on the parchment colour, because this is Starcraft yarn, I used parchment, graphite, storm blue and khaki, and I just did tassels to match the colour at the end of each row, and that was it. Oh, hopefully that's all made sense to you and you're going to give this pattern a try. I would love to see it if you did. All my social media is at the bottom of this video, so please share any pictures that you have got once you've made this pattern, and I hope whoever receives the scarf or the blanket that you make from it really loves it. If it's for you, wear it with pride. And thank you so much for watching. Do let me know if you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.